We began this class, one of the first modules, not the first modules, but one of the first modules, was about creation, and we also talked about the afterlife. And this module is, of course, about the apocalypse and fate, which are intertwined because the apocalypse is fated in the mythoi that believe the apocalypse is coming. And not all cultures, religions, did have the myth of the apocalypse. But several very important religions, including Christianity, does have this tale of the end of the world. And in some cases, it is the end of the universe. And I want to refer to one of the myths in Barlin, and it is the first one on page 237, how Rudra destroys the universe. And I want to refer to this because there was an assignment, and it had to do with Isaac Asimov's story, The Last Question. And in that I asked, how does that story relate to the Hindu tale of Brahma creating the universe? Because in that tale of the creation of the universe, it says that Brahma has created the universe over and over and over. And I want to read the first few lines from this myth in Barlin that says, "The earth has been created, destroyed, and recreated many times. Only the Eternal knows how many times this has taken place. Or perhaps he does not know. The laws of the universe are fixed. The 4 ages of man naturally occur and recur as Dharma, the 4-legged stool of truth, is established and disintegrates, 1 leg at a time, until there is nothing for the world to stand on. However, the destruction of the universe is inevitable in every cycle." And so in the Hindu religion and Hindu myth, there is the cycle. Something ends, something begins. Now, this is a bit different from other apocalyptic myths. For example, in Christianity, when the world ends, it ends. But does it really? Because it also says that a new heaven and a new earth will be created. And even in Norse myth, Ragnarok, the destruction of the gods, and of course there are variant myths. In that myth, the world is born again, and I do think, don't think I'm really going out on a limb here, but I will say that I think that the Norse myth that we have, the variation of that myth, is influenced by Christianity. And some variants of the Norse myth say that there is a man and woman left in the of the roots of Yggdrasil, and modern Asatru, to whom I have spoken, people who practice the Old Norse religion, some of them say that that's already happened, and that Adam and Eve were those two, was that couple, the man and the woman that were left, and they started the cycle again. Speaking in scientific terms, in real time, in 5 billion years, everything that I have read, science says that the sun, our sun, will become a red giant, and it will burn the earth to a cinder. And once that happens, there will be no reestablishment of the earth. Also about that time, our Milky Way galaxy will be colliding with the Andromeda galaxy, and who knows what's going to happen. But science says, yeah, there will be an end of times. Will humans still be alive by then? Maybe that giant computer in Isaac Asimov's story will be the continuation, and maybe that computer will begin the world again. But I am fond of the Hindu idea that it's created and recreated. It's created and recreated, because it also goes back to some creation myths that we saw and read early in the semester. And it is when that being arises out of chaos and establishes the universe, or puts order into the universe. And the universe always threatens to slide back into the abyss, back into chaos, and sometimes it does. And then the universe, however you define that, whether it is the deities or the universe as being an entity in and of itself, has to crawl back out and instill order again. And of course, there are many, many, many paradoxes in that, many oxymorons, and perhaps contradictions. Because if the universe is it, then how can it slide back into chaos? If the universe is it, then how can the first being arise from chaos or the abyss and create the universe? That's up for grabs. That's up for theories. And of course it is metaphor. And it is a metaphor for human existence. Because in our infancy, humans were quite egocentric, and of course many believe that the earth was the center of the universe. And that is tongue-in-cheek when I said in our infancy we were egocentric, because as a race overall, we're still egocentric and still somehow think that even if there is an Armageddon, if there is an end of the world, somehow humans are going to rise out of the ashes like the phoenix and reestablish ourselves. So who knows? I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to talk about some other apocalyptic myths and endings. But I just wanted to get that generality in there of maybe we've all done this before. Because when the universe is recreated by Brahma, is it an entirely new universe? Or is it just a recreation of the universe that is? Have I sat before this camera in dozens and dozens and dozens and an infinite number of times giving this information to you? Food for thought.